Coming to you live from the MediaPlex in downtown Windsor, this is a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism.
It's Friday, and we're live. Welcome to MediaPlex Friday Live. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Matt Flood, greeting you with a warm welcome and walking you through the news of the day. Our top story of the day. The local bands are coming together to help the downtown mission. 20 bands will be playing at the Rockstar Music Hall who are making food donations to the mission. The downtown mission suffered significant losses after the basement where food is stored flooded twice, forcing the mission to throw it away for health reasons. The Rockstar Music Hall is asking attendees to bring food donations to cover the cost of the show. The show will begin at 5 p.m. and go through the night until 2 a.m. Now we're going to hand it over to Jordan Ferris for some sports stories of the day.
Thank you, Matt. The Windsor Spitfires were in a barn burner last night. The Spits beat the Saginaw Spirit 7-5. The Spirit are the 9th-ranked team in the CHL but have struggled with goaltending. After the teams traded goals in the first and second period, Spits starting goalie Mikey DiPietro was shaken up after a collision near the end of the period. Mikey did not return, and rookie goalie Karen Pyronen replaced him for the rest of the period. Pyronen only allowed one goal on 15 shots. The Spits outshot 36-22, and Spits coach Trevor Lutowski said, "At the end of the day, we found a way to win the game." And the U versus the College. The St. Clair Saints took on the Windsor Lancers in a friendly game on Wednesday. The Lancers beat the Saints 79-67. New St. Clair commit and Detroit native Jalen Skies scored 11 points, and David Gomez was the Saints' top scorer with 24 points. Both teams play again tonight at the Alumni Hall. Tip-off at 8. And Lancers Women's Soccer Club got doubled up by McMaster's in regular season action this past week. McMaster's won 2-1 with the Saints' lone goal coming from Jamie O'Neill. The Lady Lancers hit the road and take on Waterloo tomorrow night. And that's all for your sports this morning. Back to you, Matt.
Thank you, Jordan. Now we're going to send it over to Nora Armijo Sinet with our weekend weather report. Nora?
Thanks. Today is a high of 20 degrees, mainly sunny with possible cloudiness and rain later in the day. Looking forward to the weekend, Saturday will be a high of 16 degrees and sunny, while Sunday will be a high of 21 with chance of showers. Back to you, Matt.
Thank you, Nora. Condominium development is soon to start in East Riverside. Construction for Eastside Horizons condominium project is starting in the next few weeks, but no exact date has been set. The development is coming from Toronto-based Horizon Investment Holdings Incorporated, who decided to invest in Windsor to offer more affordable housing compared to Toronto. Prices for condos will start around $260,000, ranging up to $330,000. All 3 condominium buildings will be 7 stories tall, each including 60 units. Today we'll be talking open streets, movies, crime, and more this Friday Live. Our own Ryan Percy went to Open Streets to tell you all about it.
Last Sunday was Open Streets in Windsor. An 8-kilometer tract of road was closed off from Sandwich all the way to Ford City. Artisans, artists, sellers, and nonprofits lined the streets in tents. Games and activities such as ball tosses and algae painting were available for free to anyone who wanted to take part. Jeff Denomi, a local business owner and candidate for Ward 6, was out selling his hot sauces and says that he's glad Windsor is giving local businesses this opportunity.
Open Streets is a great idea. I mean, it's something that happens around the world. I'm glad to see Windsor finally getting on board with it. I know it was a little bit of a struggle to get it to happen. But as you can see, you know, the people are out, the people are coming. Gets people out in their communities. They're being active. They're seeing new businesses.
Open Streets even brought in a number of international participants. Anne Longino is from Chicago and attended with her husband Jeff. She said she particularly liked the waterfront.
Keep this up. It's great. I mean, it's so fun. What I liked about this area particularly is it's very international and very safe and very welcoming, and you know, there's just a lot of interesting people to see and talk to.
Well, not everyone who attended Open Streets left with more money in their wallet. Most left with smiles on their faces. For MediaPlex News, I'm Ryan Percy.
Do you know what's poppin' in Windsor? If not, have no fear. Tomas Miko is here.
Welcome to It's Poppin', your weekly entertainment news. Exploring the local and international entertainment, I will talk about upcoming and recent events, movies, games, music, and many more. Chew it, punch it. OpenStreet came to Windsor on September 23rd, and it was a huge success. With the roads closed to the traffic, people were able to walk around and enjoy fun activities. OpenStreet Windsor started at 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. It ran on an 8-kilometer route across Windsor, from Sandwich Town to Fort City. OpenStreet Windsor offered many fun activities such as dancing, yoga, cycling, interactive learning, live music, and food. It was a great opportunity for the public to know more about the community and its services. Only 3 days left until Windsor Comic Con begins. The Comic Con takes place at Caesars Windsor. On September 29, it starts from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. And the following day it starts from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. More than 12 special guests to talk with and ask questions. Also, you can get an autograph or take a selfie with an artist. Who else is going to be there? Dickie Beer, Tony Todd, Larry Hama, Tyler Main, Mark Henry, and many more. Tickets available online and other locations in Windsor, such as the Cartoon Kingdom, the Game MD, Paper Heroes, and Rogues Gallery Comics. Next week on It's Poppin', Venom is coming to the big screen in its own standalone movie. Lara Croft returns again to save the world. That's it for today. Stay tuned.
And now we'll kick it to Cody Wall for an in-depth look on drafted hockey players. Cody?
Welcome to the first ever episode of the Decoder Podcast. I'm Cody Wall, and each episode I take a close look at some of the top undrafted prospects, break down their game, and see if they can make it past the decoding. Since this is the first episode, I thought why not start with the most hyped prospect there is this season, Jack Hughes of the U.S. Development Program. This 5'10", 170-pound center sits alone at the top of almost everyone's draft rankings. With his outstanding skating and edge work, his elite-level vision, and his ability to make his line mates better, he is without a doubt the top prospect in this year's draft class.
Here comes Jack Hughes, winds and fires, scores! And just like that, Jack Hughes strikes, and the lead is cut to 1.
When watching highlights of Hughes, the first thing I saw is how smooth his skating looks. He is fast, but he isn't the McDavid type skater where he's going to fly by everyone on the ice and beat you with a raw speed. His edge work and stops and starts are what makes him special. The way he turns on the dime and sneaks through the other team's defenses is something special, and anytime you are being compared to Patrick Kane, you know you're doing something right. Now on to the question of the podcast. Does he make it past the decoding? Without a doubt. This isn't even a question. Hughes is on the same level as a guy like Austin Matthews in terms of where he was at in his draft year. Now I know it's going to be hard to follow a guy like Hughes, but I thought if there was a guy to follow the guy who's going to go first overall in the NHL draft, it might as well be the guy who went from first overall in the OHL draft. Next up is Ryan Suzuki, the younger brother of the recently acquired Montreal Canadian prospect Nick Suzuki. Ryan currently plays for the Barrie Colts of the OHL. Unlike Hughes, who is a surefire NHL star, I'm not so sure about Suzuki. He has all the tools and looks like he's going to be a good player, but I don't know if he's a star at the next level. Let's talk about what I like about him. The best thing about Suzuki's game, in my opinion, is his hockey IQ. One scout even went as far to say as he's one of the smartest prospects in the OHL. Watching him play is a treat. He has his head up all the time looking for the best play available. Another thing you'll notice about Suzuki is his playmaking ability, which is elite. And the fact that he had 30 assists as a 16-year-old in the OHL shows that.
And now we got Ryan Suzuki off on a breakaway. It's a 2-on-0. Suzuki and Chiodo. Back to Suzuki. Chiodo scores!
The thing that scares me about Suzuki is his goal-scoring ability, which I find shocking. A guy with Suzuki's level of skill should be scoring more than 20 goals a season, something Suzuki didn't even do playing AAA hockey in the 2016-2017 season. Now on to the question. Does he make it past the decoding? Yeah, he does. I think his hockey IQ is too high for him not to make it. However, I don't know if he's a star at the next level. I could see him being a Sam Reinhart type player, who was a great junior hockey player, but a solid second liner at the NHL level. That's all the time I have. Tune in next episode when I take a look at 2 more prospects and see if they can make it past the decoding.
Josie Richards is in the studio to tell you all about the best flicks on Netflix.
Welcome to the best flicks on Netflix with your host, Josie Richards. As we get closer to the weekend, I know you all want nothing more than to kick back and relax. And what's a better way to relax than by lying on the couch and binge watching Netflix? That's where I come in. I'll be giving you a weekly recommendation on what I think are the best flicks on Netflix to watch. This week's show is American Vandal. I stumbled across this gem of a show earlier this week when I was, surprise, surprise, lying on my couch procrastinating. At first, I thought it was a documentary. Then, I realized it was a mockumentary. American Vandal is a true crime satire made through the eyes of the show's protagonist, high school student, Peter Maldonado. Maldonado, just like us here in the Mediaplex, has a passion for film and finding the truth within every story. And boy, oh boy, was there a big story. At Peter's fictional high school, someone has vandalized 27 cars by spraying large red male genitalias. Peter, along with his sidekick and best friend Sam, make it their mission to discover who drew the phalluses. Here are 3 reasons why I think you should check out American Vandal. 1. The actors. None of these actors are big names, but their performances are amazing. I was easily convinced into thinking this show was real, even though I know it's not. 2. The delivery. American Vandal takes a typically serious murder mystery genre and turns it on its head by dealing with phallic drawings and poop mysteries. And 3. Is binge-worthy. Each episode ends on a cliffhanger, where you're left guessing who actually committed each of the crimes. And there you have it. Tune in to the best flicks on Netflix next week for another recommendation.
Thank you, Josie. Casey Cooper is here to tell us about the tragedy of the First World.
Have you ever stopped to think about the people we make famous? I'm not talking about actors and actresses or music artists, because as much as we may dislike certain people in Hollywood, art is subjective, right? I'm talking about the people we make famous just because we can. You know who I'm talking about. The Paris Hiltons of the world, who, yes, had a hit TV show for a while, but was really only famous because of her money. Or Danielle Bregoli, the Cash Me Outside girl. You hear it time and time again. Stop making stupid people famous. There's one family I want to talk about that this specifically applies to, the Kardashian-Jenner crew. They always seem to be in the public eye or the center of some ridiculous scandal with their drama. There always seems to be something with them. Either it's about boys, babies, or betrayal. But if you really stop to think about it, why are they actually famous? Sure, you could link it back to some scandalous sex tape, or you could look at the situation for what it is. The world loves pretty people, so much so that we are willing to pay them. They're earning big bucks for TV shows, clothing lines, makeup lines, and sponsorships, but each of those things would be worth nothing if not for being icons. Combined, the 5 sisters have 464 million Instagram followers. Now, that's not to say that some of those numbers don't overlap, but regardless, that is a huge social media following, and that doesn't even account for other sites like Twitter. We idolize these people because of their genetics and how they chose to flaunt it. They make millions a year just because they're pretty. With icons like these, we make our own tragedies. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Casey Cooper. Make sure to listen in next week for another episode, The Tragedy of the First World.
Now, we all know Kanye loves Kanye, but how do Brett and Sam feel? Let's find out, guys.
So, Brett, tell me how you stand on Kanye. I know, but we have to let the people know.
Well, it's pretty simple. Kanye is easily not a good musician whatsoever.
All right, and what makes you think that? What in the world makes you think that, Brett?
Well, it's pretty simple. He makes good, once in a while he makes a banger, but he does not at all make a classic song, except for the one in like only Stronger Power, What else could he make?
Gold Digger, Jesus Walks, Ultralight Beam. Are you kidding me? You're gonna name the one album that has aged the worst in his discography?
But it's simply one of the best albums that he's ever made.
Not even true. Not even true.
It's easily the best album he's made.
You're gonna say that Graduation is better over Late Registration, over College Dropout, over that new album he just came out with Kid Cudi, Kids See Ghost. Incredible album. You're gonna say all those are still subpar when compared to Graduation.
Graduation was a great album because it had so many great hits onto it.
Like what, Brett? Tell me some of these hits.
Well, Stronger for one.
All right, you said that. Let's go. Name another one.
I don't want to because he's easily just not a great musician. But listen to this. Think about it this way: he will never go down as one of the greatest hip hop artists. He can go down as one of the greatest pop artists, maybe. But
all right, so let's have a little insight. Who do you think ranks amongst the greatest hip hop artists?
Eminem. Let's say, I don't know. Let's go with Eminem, Jay-Z.
Okay.
Dr. Dre.
All right, you want to bring up Jay-Z? We'll talk about Jay-Z. Jay-Z recognized as one of the greatest up-and-comers in the rap game. Okay, we're running out of time, so we'll pick this up some other time. All right, back to you, Matt.
Thanks, guys. That was absolutely amazing. I love your points of view, but we're going to have to bring it back to Nora introducing her segment on movies. Take it away, Nora.
Thanks. Welcome to my new segment, Rearview Mirror, where I will be looking at movies from a fresh perspective. Today we will be talking about Legally Blonde, released in 2001. Reese Witherspoon stars as California sorority girl Elle Woods. What's the plot? Girl gets dumped, follows boy to Harvard to prove that she's wifey material. What does she find there? Love, laughter, but most importantly, a law degree. She rejects and then ultimately reclaims signifiers of femininity on her path to success. On her first day of class, the audience is invited to laugh along at her initial failure. She shows up to class all dressed up, but she hasn't done the reading. It's visual shorthand for how she isn't serious or prepared. She's too pink, too blonde, and she's not like us. She looks initially to other women to be her friends and mentors, but the women of Harvard actively discourage and humiliate her. The emotional turn comes at a party where Elle is tricked into wearing an embarrassing costume. She's laughed at by her female classmate Vivian, and her ex-boyfriend Warner tells her she isn't smart enough to succeed. Here, she owns her anger for the first time. She realizes, you know what? She does deserve to be here. She got almost a perfect score on her entrance exam and a 4.0 in fashion merchandising. Though her undergrad major is another signifier for her being girly and shallow, fashion merchandising is actually a business degree. Elle dons navy and black, gets studying, gets serious, and gets revenge. She lands a prestigious legal internship and finds a true friend in Vivian after they stop competing over Warner. Elle is eventually tapped to assist in a murder trial. It turns out the main suspect is a former member of Elle's sorority. While she's mocked for her sorority membership, she is able to use this connection to discover the suspect's alibi. At the climax of the movie, Elle shows up to court in a pink suit and uses her knowledge of hair care to exonerate her client. Her colorful clothing now represents self-acceptance and confidence in herself. Her epiphany doesn't come with rejecting her past self or shaming her past actions. Instead, she realizes she had the power to succeed all along. This has been Rearview Mirror. Tune in next week where we'll talk about another decade-old movie. Back to you, Matt.
Thank you, Nora. Now, I'm here with Police Coordinator Amanda Allen from Crime Stoppers. How are you, Amanda?
I'm great, thanks. How about yourself?
Oh, absolutely fantastic. So, Amanda, for those who may not know, can you tell us what Crime Stoppers does?
So, Crime Stoppers is a nonprofit charity, and a lot of people don't realize that we do not receive government funding. It's a nonprofit charity, and it started 42 years ago where a police detective thought outside the box. I've got to come up with a new idea. So he offered people an opportunity to phone a number other than a police number, totally separate from the police department, offer anonymous tips, and he even offered some cash out of his own pocket at that time to pay a reward for anyone who could help him solve a homicide.
Okay, so how many tips do you usually get?
Well, we've come a long way in those 42 years. He was dealing with one phone line at that time. We now have 38 programs in Ontario and numerous programs across Canada and nationwide. Here in Windsor, Essex County, we're taking about 200 tips a month, and that's via phone and, of course, via the web these days.
Ah. Okay, so what has made Crime Stoppers successful?
Well, I think for Windsor and Essex County, for us, we've got a very supportive board of directors. Our board members are volunteers, and some have been with us since 1985 when the program started. And we're always looking for new board members to join our team. But we're really out in the community everywhere. We want people to know that Crime Stoppers is there 24/7 by dialing 519-258-8477 or submit a tip at catchcrooks.com. We submit the information to our police partners who investigate the crime and get the results. This month alone, Matt, we offered $3,500 in rewards. People are using our program, and that's what makes it successful.
So this is a little bit of a side note, but I was kind of curious. You said that you don't get government funding. Does Crime Stoppers receive funding from anywhere else through donations?
And that's what we rely on as the community support. So we'll run fundraisers. We have a great partnership with the Windsor Spitfires, with our Chuck-a-Puck events. We're looking at a new partnership with the Windsor Express. We're at community events all over town, making sure that people not only know that they can join our team, submit tips, but they can also help us financially as well.
Okay, so as I understand, you have a crime of the week. Do you got anything for us today?
That's right. Windsor Police, you can always follow us on our social media. Twitter is @CStoppers, so the letter C for crime, so CStoppers. And we submit information all the time on our socials, Facebook as well, on crimes that we're looking for information. This one comes from Windsor Police. On September 22nd, around 5:15 a.m., there was a robbery at a convenience store in the 1800 block of Droulard. The employee unfortunately was struck with a handgun or a replica thereof and suffered a minor injury on that. There was a description provided, a male about 5'8", skinny build. Unfortunately, he's covered up, which happens a lot of times with the robberies, but he did have some distinctive clothing. Black hoodie with a DC logo, gray jogging pants, and white Puma running shoes. And black gloves. All of those things are very distinctive. Sometimes people don't recognize the person, but they recognize the clothing. So we're asking people to check us out at CStoppers or on our Facebook site. And we do have those photos loaded up. If you have any information and you don't want to go to court, you don't want to give your name, but you want to help the police solve this crime, get this guy off the streets, let us know.
So what should people do if they have a tip?
Well, the first thing they got to do is figure out the priority. If it's a crime in progress, please use the police. 911 is always, for a crime in progress, that's the right choice. If you are a victim of crime, it's going to be the non-emergency police number. If you have crime about something that's coming up way off in the distance, or you're concerned with somebody, even when we think of major incidents like the terrorism and the mass incidents, people say, oh, you know what, he said something, or he was a little bit off. Maybe I should have told somebody. Tell somebody. We'll send it through. We can work with whether it's school administrators or employers or family members, find out what's going on with somebody. But call us, 519-258-8477, or right online, catchcrooks.com, there's submit a tip. And it's simple as filling out the blanks. You just fill out that form. Drugs, robbery, break and enter, theft, where there's stolen property, where there's guns being stored. Help us. It really we're using a logo or a slogan right now, see something, say something. We just don't have enough police officers, and we need the public to be our extra help.
Okay. Well, Amanda, I want to thank you for coming in and spreading some words with us, but unfortunately that is all the time that we have for today. So, I would like to thank you for tuning in. Friday Live is a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism. Our production team consists of Ryan Percy and Matt Flood. This week, we had contributions from Nora Amiho-Sinnett, Thomas Miko, Ryan Percy, Casey Cooper, Brett Blake, Sam Sinclair, Josie Richards, and Jordan Ferris. I'm Matt Flood. Have a great weekend.